What's happening, everybody out here? Typical day for me here in sunny Southwest Florida. Just got home from work, and earlier today I had lunch with some co-workers, and they were checking out my channel, and somebody said to me, "Hey Al, you never did a driving impressions video with that 18 Mustang." So today's the day. Let's do it. Alright guys, here we have the 2018 Mustang GT in the beautiful orange Fury color. This car is absolutely spectacular. Sitting on my driveway, I gotta say, when I look at this car on my driveway, it just makes my heart flutter. It is stunning. And here, you know, you get a look at the front end of this car, and you know, you see these nasty looking headlights that looking angry. You know, when you're driving along and you see one of these cars coming at you, this thing is just screaming at you, move over because here I come. Really stunning looking vehicle. And here you can see this car is equipped with the 20-inch wheel that was available in 2018. Nice looking wheel. This is a non-track pack car, and here you can see also the heat extractors on the hood, looking like an 03-04 Cobra. Really nice. Come around the back of the car, you see the standard spoiler and quad exhaust down there, and tail lights are a little different. Not a huge change, but I think it's pretty cool the way it's kind of hatched into there like that. Gives it a little bit of a flare. And then back here in this piece here, you can see this little groove that they kind of put in there. Gives it just a little bit of style. Looks really nice. Really sharp looking vehicle. Okay, so my driving impressions of this 2018 Mustang GT. I have to say right off the bat, I absolutely love this car. It's a typical S550. It's really not that much different than the 15s that came out a couple of years ago. But for me, this is the first S550 that I've ever owned. And prior to this, I had a couple of S197s. Both of them were beautiful cars. I loved them. There was lots of nice things about them. But when you get into an S550, it's a completely different ballgame. Ford did a really good job with this car. This car is sort of equipped with really not that many things. It's a premium car. When I was looking around for one of these cars, I knew pretty much how I wanted it to be optioned up, the options that I want and the options that I didn't want. I did not want a performance pack, you know, and so I don't have the 6-piston brakes and some of the things that go along with the performance pack. But I wanted the orange Fury, I wanted the 20-inch wheels. There was some things I didn't also want, like cross traffic and safe and smart and all those kinds of things. I didn't really want that. You know, it just moves the price up, and you know, when you start loading up these cars, they can get pretty expensive. And personally, unless you're out, you know, going to a road course or something like that with your car, the performance pack really isn't necessary. So I decided not to get that. I wanted a 355 rear gear, so this car is so equipped with that gear. I wanted a 10R80. That was another thing that was very important to me. And you know, I wanted the Shaker Pro, but this car is not equipped with Shaker Pro. But the standard shaker is pretty good, so I'm happy with that. So, you know, the basic driving impressions of the car, I have to say, are good across the board. However, this car feels a little different, in my opinion, to the 15 to 17s that are not equipped with the performance pack. This car feels firm. In fact, this car almost feels like, say, a 15 that has a performance pack in it. The suspension the tuning of the suspension feels firmer. There's no information on the web to support this, except back in July of 2017, Matt Moran was releasing some information about these cars, and he said something about the tuning of the 18 Mustangs was going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to include the link in the description so that you guys can listen to what Matt had to say about this. The car is great. I would say if I had to isolate 3 things about the car that I would say are like the greatest things. Number one, I would say the 10R80. Number two, the 10R80. And number three, that's right, the 10R80. The 10-speed transmission in this car it makes a world of difference. It is a totally different ball game to drive an 18 with the 10R80 as compared to any other car with a 6-speed. A 6R80 car, or even a Gen 5 Camaro with a 6-speed. The Gen 6 Camaros with the 8 speeds, they were pretty good. I drove one of those and I liked that. But this car, combined with the 355 rear gear, this car just jumps. The RPMs just jump to 7,000 RPM, and when you're standing on the gas, it just zip, zip, zip through the gears. And in between gears, there isn't much drop down in RPMs because the gear stacking is so close. And it helps this car accelerate like crazy. If you haven't driven one, you got to get out to the dealers and go test drive one of these cars, because it's something that you have to experience to really appreciate. And I absolutely love this thing. I think it's fantastic. I have absolutely no regrets with buying this car. I like the way it looks. I like the way it drives. There's a lot of information on YouTube, guys that have these cars, and I've been posting them on their channels. There's a lot of talk about how fast they are. But you know something? This car, as fast as it is this is also a very good touring car. And that's the thing that I like about it. This car, when you're just driving it around normally and, in and out of traffic or going here or going there, it's a pleasure to drive. It's a comfortable car. It's been well documented about how the ergonomics of the S550 is, how comfortable the seats are, and all of that kind of stuff. I absolutely love the way I fit into this car. I love the digital dash. I like the displays. I like everything that goes on in there. The climate controls and all that stuff. I just absolutely love it. And the heated and cooled seats are phenomenal. I mean, down here in Florida, you don't really need the heated seat feature, but the cooled seat, I just leave it on all the time. I never turn it off. But getting back to it being a really good touring car, just kind of driving this car around normally is a pleasure. I mean, it's comfortable. You don't get beat up. You don't get your bones vibrated. I remember years ago I had an 03 Cobra that was a really great car. I enjoyed the car a lot. The thing was, drive that car around for a little while, and you get out of the car and I felt beat up. I felt like I was in a situation where I was uncomfortable. And that's not the case here with the 18 Mustang with the 10R80. This car is comfortable, and it drives nice, and when you want to, you stand on the gas, and this thing checks out like crazy. I mean, this thing really hauls the mail. Right out of the gate, they were bringing these cars to the track, and they were running 12 seconds flat, getting into the high 11s at 118 miles an hour without breaking a sweat. So this is just a phenomenal car. If I was to have to rate this car on a scale from 1 to 10, I would say this car gets a 10, hands down. I wouldn't even hesitate. This car exceeds my expectations in so many ways that the one slight negative that I would have to say about this car is not enough for me to not give this car a 10 on a scale from 1 to 10. The only issue with it, I think that the car still is a little heavy. If they could do some things with a car like this to make it lose, say, 200, maybe 300 pounds, I would say it would be absolutely perfect at that point. So it's a little bit heavy, but in every other way, this car exceeds my expectations. So I absolutely love it. One other thing I also want to make mention is that when you turn around with this car and just driving around normally in and out of traffic, you're not looking to jump on the gas or nothing like that, and it's in normal mode, the 10R80 does some very interesting things. It will, like in light pedal situations, it'll shift from first to third to fifth gear. Nice and smooth, nice and easy. It almost feels like a 6R80 car when it does that. It's really cool. I really like the way the Ford engineers put that together. So that's it. That's my review of the 2018 Mustang. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's the perfect car for me. And if anybody is out there thinking about getting one, well, certainly get the 10R80 because there is a problem with the shift forks in the the MT82 D4 transmission that comes in the 18 Mustang. I think Ford's going to work that out. I might have been a little rough on Ford in a previous video, but I think they'll work it out. They got to replace the broken ones, and whether they do a recall or not, I think that they have to have parts on the shelf that when these shift forks get replaced, they replace them with something that's stronger, maybe billet aluminum or some kind of metal. So that's about a wrap for today, folks. Until next time, Coyote Car Guy, over and out.
I do have some good news for you, and that is that it sounds like, according to some of the press releases and stuff, that the standard 2018 Mustang's GT suspension gets a lot of the same suspension components as the 2017 Performance Pack. So I think what they're kind of doing is the new performance package is $4,000 is actually a more track-oriented performance package than it has been in the past years, and the all 2018 Mustangs get a much sportier, stiffer suspension than before, which is bad news if you want a soft, floaty Mustang like I kind of do. But if you do want that sportier, ride and whatnot, it sounds like all 2018 Mustangs are going to be stiffer anyway than the 2015 to 17s. So honestly, I mean,